You have to wonder, right? What could a 70-year-old math textbook, originally written for students in Russia, possibly teach us about learning today? Well, as it turns out, a whole lot.
So let's dive in. The answer is hidden inside this fascinating piece of educational history, a classic textbook that's only now becoming available to a wider English-speaking audience.
And here it is, Kiselev's Arithmetic. You know, for millions of students in the first half of the 20th century, this wasn't just some textbook, it was the textbook. We're talking about the absolute gold standard for how math was taught, building a solid foundation for generations.
But here's what's truly wild. Its lifespan. Just think about it for a second. Textbooks today get updated, what, every few years? This thing stayed the standard for decades. It even survived the massive political upheaval of the 1917 Russian Revolution. I mean, that kind of longevity is just unheard of.
So who was the genius behind a book so powerful it could literally withstand a revolution? Well, it wasn't some famous ivory tower academic. It was a dedicated, hands-on teacher, Andrei Petrovich Kiselev.
Kiselev's story is all about passion, really. He graduates from a top university. He could have gone anywhere, done anything in science. But what does he do? He chooses to become a school teacher. And it's in the classroom that he sees the problem. The textbooks, they were just not cutting it. They were way too complicated, too abstract. So he just decided, you know what, I'll write my own. And in 1884, Arithmetic was born.
So, what was his big idea? What did he think students really needed? It was so simple, yet so profound. A foundation built not on just memorizing a bunch of rules, but on pure, solid, step-by-step logic.
And this is the secret sauce right here. These were his guiding principles. It was all about precise reasoning, super clear, logical rigor. His whole goal was to get students to that aha moment, to have a deep understanding of why something worked, not just how to plug and chug the numbers.
And this is a perfect example of his method in action. Just look at how he defines a whole number. It's so beautiful, so simple. He doesn't assume you know a thing. He literally builds the entire universe of math from this one basic idea. A number is just a collection of ones. That's it. Everything starts there.
And from that one simple definition, Kiselev he built. Methodically, brick by brick, he constructs the entire number system, making sure there are absolutely no gaps in your understanding along the way.
So, step one? He starts at the absolute beginning, the most fundamental question you can possibly ask. Okay, first things first, what is a whole number? Okay, so we know what a number is. What's the next logical step? Well, what do we do with numbers? We count things. It just makes sense, right?
And from there, he just keeps building, logically, piece by piece, until you get to more complex ideas like place value. By following this path, you don't just memorize that there's a tens place or a hundreds place, you get it. You understand it from the ground up.
This logical approach leads to some pretty amazing, really intuitive techniques. And honestly, one of the coolest examples is Kiselev's method for subtraction. It all comes down to a simple little visual trick, a dot. The rules are super straightforward. When you need to borrow from the column next door, you just pop a little dot above that digit. It's a simple reminder. But, and this is the cool part, the real genius is how this system handles borrowing when you have to go across a bunch of zeros.
All right, let's look at an example. You need to subtract 5 from 2 here in the ones column. Can't do it, right? So we need to borrow from the 7 in the tens column. Instead of scratching things out, you just put a dot over the 7. Bam! Now you know that 7 is really a 6. The 2 becomes a 12, and the rest is easy. Super clean, no messy crossouts.
Okay, but this is where the dot method really shines. This is what he calls the chain rule. You need to borrow from the 6 all the way across those 2 zeros. That used to be a pain, right? Well, here, you just place one dot on the 6. That's it. That one dot automatically transforms all the zeros you skipped over into 9s. It is such a clean, elegant solution to a problem that, let's be honest, trips up a ton of people.
That little dot, it's the perfect symbol for Kiselev's entire philosophy. It's all about clarity, which kind of makes you think, right? What's the bigger lesson here? What's the takeaway from digging up this old approach to math in our world today?
You know, the publisher of the New English Translation, Valery Minokin, he said it perfectly. The hope here is that this old way of teaching, this focus on a logical, solid foundation, can be just as powerful for a new generation. In a world that's all about quick fixes and shortcuts, Kiselev's work is this great reminder of the power of building your knowledge right from the very beginning.
And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. In our age of calculators in our pockets and AI that can do the math for us, what can a simple 100-year-old pen and paper method really teach us about the timeless and, I'd argue, essential value of deep logical reasoning?